Learning today that 2 have been arrested in connection with the triple homicide out in San Antonio, Texas. This is the case of Savanah Soto, Matthew Guerrera, and their unborn child, baby Fabian. They were gunned down and dumped at an apartment complex and were located on December 26th.
It was a heinous act. It was unspeakable, the tragedy of it. When we talk about the manner of death has not been determined, the manner meaning, was it a suicide or was it a murder?
You said that ME said that for Matthew Guerra it was a gunshot wound to the head, but when we called them, they said it's a contact gunshot wound. What does that mean?
It means that it was there.
However, with new evidence and new information coming forward, we have learned that they died on the 21st in early morning hours leading into the 22nd. It was right before midnight when the car was dumped in that video that you just saw. What we've learned since then is that this is potentially a drug deal that has gone wrong. This is a robbery homicide because everything happened from execution to dumping the car in less than 10 minutes, according to the affidavit. Let me know what your thoughts are. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe here on TikTok to Bullhorn Betty. And don't forget, I have another channel. It is on YouTube. Please consider going over to Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories to get the latest and greatest on the up-to-date true crime news. I'm having technical difficulties. I don't know why. Every time I unplug this computer and I try to hook my equipment back up, it just does not want to do anything. So I had to reset all of my settings on Google. It has not been but I use this computer literally for everything. So something's going on with it. I don't know, but I know it has something to do with the sound box. So it is what it is. We're just going to have to roll with it. Hopefully it doesn't jack us up. Hopefully it's streaming just fine on your end. I'm hoping that is the case. I'm trying to see why this will not, of course, just give me just a second, guys. But I hope everybody's having a great afternoon so far. We're rocking it out here. And I've got a lot of stuff going on. So there's my stream health. It's saying it's healthy. It's looking fine. StreamYard's the only one. Can everybody hear me okay? I mean, you guys aren't having any problems hearing me. I'm not laggy on my end. It's just the stupid thing that's on StreamYard that's giving me heartburn. You hear me good? All right, perfect. We're just going to roll with it. Screw StreamYard. I'm so sick of the service. But it is what we have to deal with. And I wish it'd just make it easier. That's all. So, today, we were discussing earlier this morning on the Coffee Club, we were discussing the Soto case. We actually discussed both cases. Rachel Morin, new information in the Rachel Morin case. They did get a sketch of the suspect 6 months freaking later. They have decided that maybe now's the time to start asking the public for freaking help. You know, we've been screaming bloody murder for a stupid forensic sketch of this guy for literally 6 months. We've even said it on here on the Bullhorn. I think we even did an entire live on where the hell is the sketch. I recall it. I don't know if we did it, but I know there was a heavy conversation about knowing what this man looks like and why are they withholding it from the people. And we even discussed further. That's one of the reasons why I actually think that they had him in custody. This doesn't make me feel like they have him in custody, guys. This makes me feel like law enforcement has dropped the ball for 6 months. If you wanted my personal opinion, putting people in danger, not talking about it, not looking for this dangerous violence. murderer that is running the streets of the United States was over on the West Coast, 5 months later killing a woman on the East Coast. Sick stuff. And law enforcement, I'm thinking I follow law enforcement behavior, right? There's the guy. 6 months later, we now have a face. We should have had this literally at a month tops. Month tops. When you didn't have this man in custody, you guys should have sent this stuff out. Don't tell me they didn't have it. They had it since they had the 12-year-old. And the 12-year-old was over on the West Coast in LA 5 months before Rachel Morin. This could have been released, but there is a reason why they are putting this Air Jordan hat on him. He must have been seen with this hat. This is very scary to me, because if I saw this man on the side of the road, I would think he was harmless. This man does not, to me, okay? I judge people. Now, granted, I'm not looking at him physically, I'm looking at a drawing, which may soften him up a little bit, right? I may have a completely different vibe when I see this man in the flesh. But this is not somebody that I would be hyper alerted about, okay? He's not somebody that if I was sitting next to him or saw him in a park, say, that I would really pay any attention to. He looks innocent. He looks like a harmless guy. We saw his body leaving that house. He looks like a fairly fit guy. Being out there on the trail, I don't think anybody would have thought he was doing anything other than working out on that trail. This guy right here does not alarm me. That is what is so scary about it. That is what's so scary about it. Before we go on, I got to tell you, I was at my meeting today. Okay, we're all about the kids, right? I got mommy, why wasn't I good enough? I was advocating kids today. I was advocating for kids today. And then somebody chose to use children as a reason to try to get something passed. Just because you say it's for the children, is it really for the children? Is it really, really, really for the children? I'm sorry. What kind of problem do we have with kids getting hit in Manatee County? I'd like to know. To justify multi-million-dollar cameras. These are not just cameras to watch what's happening. No. They want to contract with camera companies that are going to charge people if they're 1 mile over the posted speed limit in a school zone. 30 minutes before, during the entire day, up to 30 minutes after they get out of school. Yeah, not happening, babe. You can scream. We don't have people and kids over in Manatee County. Now, granted, have there been close calls? Yes, there have been. And I will be honest with you, there have been. I know there have been. I've seen them with my own eyes, right? People get distracted in the morning, got 15 million things going on. But let's look at the situation wholly, okay? We have crossing guards that are typically officers or have community patrol cars, okay? These are not just normal cars. Some of these are, but some of these other cars, actually are police type cars. They actually have lights on them. You got flashing lights, you got cops, you got crossing guards, you got peoples out there. All these peoples, all these lights, all these woo, 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 right? Letting you know that you're in a kid zone, okay? Now, if you have all of that and people are still going through there because they're distracted, do you honestly think putting a camera in there is going to stop them? I mean, I'm just asking for a few friends, because to me, it sounds like my county wants the $100 more than they really could. We've done the studies on these traffic cameras. We know they do not deter people, right? They do not deter people. If they deter people, when we have traffic cameras, there should be no accidents. And that's just not the case. So I feel like it's a money grab for the other citizens in the county. And I would much prefer raising everybody in the county $1 and putting a real legit officer out there to make sure people aren't speeding that could ticket them right then and there, as opposed to having a camera that sends them a ticket. And they're arguing with a third party why they can't pay, why the third party's strong-arming them. You pay the ticket or you lose your license, babe. No. Unfortunately, Bullhorn Betty was on the wrong side of the arguments. The commissioners did. I love my county commissioners. I love my county commissioners, right? I do. I really do. I love all of them. I do. Well, there's only one that I don't personally know. Just one that I don't personally. I'd like to get to know him because it looks like, he might have a good chance of running for that. He was appointed, and it's like he might have a good chance of getting that district. So naturally, I want to work with my county commissioners, which I tell you guys all to do the same. I'm going to get off this soapbox in just a second, but I'm going to advocate. And so long story short, I thought I would show you guys because I'm here. KVO got me. I got to say, KVO got me. He meant to because he's trying to push this through. He wants this pushed through. All the county commissioners wants this pushed through. The only person that doesn't want this nonsense pushed through is old Bullhorn Betty and the rest of the people in Manatee County that don't feel like having a third party giving them tickets in this county. Okay, if you don't know anything about me, I work very, very hard to get the red light traffic cameras out of our county. I was successful. Okay. And now they're trying to bring them back in part. They're like, well, we won't put them up at all the lights, but we can have them in the school zones. Can we have them in the school zone? I think we just take, I don't know. I think the county just wants some more revenue, and I think they want more revenue from maybe possibly bad actors, but I'm a probable cause kind of lady, okay? And I just want officers there. And honestly, I would rather have a stationed officer at these places where they need to put these cameras in as opposed to putting the cameras in. Just me personally, I think the officer is more of the deterrent. I think the officer being there would actually save taxpayers money because they're not going to be paying tickets. They're going to see the officer there. But I have to say, the people that are running through these areas, when you already have the officers, the flashing lights and everything else, just explain to me how these cameras are going to make a difference. They're not. So I'm anti-camera. If you're gonna get caught in Manatee County, you're gonna be caught the old-fashioned way, law and order. And trust me, we fund Mr. Rick Wells very well to make sure we have that. Okay, I can promise you, don't need the cameras. Rick's got this. He's probably gonna kill me. So I thought I would go in here and show you guys what I did, but for whatever reason, I can't find it. Manatee, let's see, county. Or maybe they turned it off for that. Now here it is. I think it's still running. Let me see if I can find it. But I have a habit of doing this thing of stepping on people's toes. It's kind of like one of those things where it's a requirement, even though I like my county commissioners, trust me, it doesn't stop me from saying my piece. Coming up here. Hold on. There I am. Glenn Gibolina, for the record, I got that right there is absolutely homeless vets 100%. If there is one single dollar in our county that is not being utilized and it's going to be utilized in garbage, it better go toward the homeless vets, because if it doesn't, you're going to hear this man for the next, he's going to be screaming homeless vets from his grave. I promise you that. I want you guys to see what I do. You might as well. There's not a whole lot of people in here, but my lovers.
For the record. Do the right thing.
Good morning, ma'am. State, the rule. State your name.
Yep. Andrew Griffin, Manatee County activist. I think this project is an amazing project, but I'm a conservative. I don't like spending money, and I don't like spending taxpayer money, and I don't like spending my money. So with that being said, I have to agree in part or two. There's like $1.5 million here that's unaccounted for. I would like to kind of see where that does go. Just for, transparency purposes, I just don't like, carte blanche signing something or approving something without seeing where every single penny is sent. I mean,
thing, right? That was not the clip I wanted you guys to see. I grabbed the wrong clip, and I do apologize. I'm working on trying to find the right clip. But that's what I do, right? I go where I don't want to spend any more money than we absolutely have to spend. You better give me something good. Let me just get past all this. That was not my first comment. Where the hell? Oh, that's right, because that was on a time certain. That's right. I remember now. And I got to tell you, there was once upon a time that we never discussed, and it's weird. We never discussed homeless vets or homeless issues or vet issues for many years. And now it's like the topic. I was in there today, and it's like everybody in there, even that beautiful gal right there. She had a time. She's asking them not to forget her.
And it's not only veterans, but there's other people like my friend in California due to a motorcycle accident.
So, I mean, there's just all kinds of people that come here to advocate for their cause. And bless this lady. She's the sweetest lady you've ever met. Just a kind soul, just a kind soul. And I meet all these types of people there. Here's mine. I think this is the one that they're not going to like me too much. Oh, maybe this isn't. Maybe this is my my comments, my frigid comments. I bring up Quentin Simon today.
Well thought out. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Andrew Griffin, Manatee County activist. I'm here advocating for children this morning. As with my shirt, it says, "Mommy, why was I not good enough?" This is from a Quentin Simon case in Savannah, Georgia, where a child was brutally abused up until his death at 20 months old. So I know there's a lot of people talking about homeless vets, and I'm going to talk about children. I think homeless vets need to be protected by the people as well as our children here in the state of Florida and Manatee County, as well as across the country. And so I never hear conversations related to our children. And I'd like to hear some more conversations related to our children in the 2024 and future conversations with this county. I don't know if you guys can really do a whole lot with the children, but it's nice to hear that you support activism related to our innocent and our most helpless of helpless. So we have our homeless veterans that I'm glad just a few short years ago we weren't talking about. We didn't even want services for them. We didn't care about housing for them. And look at all the people that came up here, all these beautiful people that came up are sitting here advocating for the homeless vets, and God bless them for doing so. Let's do something for our children. Thank you, and God bless.
Boom, baby, boom. So there's a lot, but that ended up coming back to bite me, right? Because again, KBO's trying to push through these cameras, right? And I'm saying, no, like, what problem do we have here in Manatee County? You got to ask these things, because everybody says, oh, it's for the kids, and not you're just handing out money to the, you just have to put the label on it. When you look under the hood, none of it's for the kids. None of it's for the kids. So, that I don't know if that's the case with this money. It sounds like this money's going, the money that they'll be collecting from these red light cameras will be going and doing some good. But you know what? My job, not just children. My job's also the Manatee County residents, the taxpayers as well. I got to protect them. I'm an advocate. I'm an activist. That's what I do. And so that comment ended up coming back to bite me a little later on as I'm trying to wrestle with our governing body about the cameras. And let me see if I can find that. Oh yeah, here's the Save Lives. And you know what? Much bullshit. Excuse my language. Excuse my French. I know you guys don't like hearing me talk like that. But this is what really, really burned my grits. The presenter up here, this is how they do it. And this was what really, because we're true crime here. Like, we pick apart every damn thing, right? We pick apart. They said that, not that. They said that, not that. That has to mean something, right? That's us. That's us. We're true crime, right? We're true crime. She came up there and started presenting, saying, yes, pedestrians, and just you're asking for money for very specific things. Traffic cameras in our areas where our kids, in our schools. So naturally, I'm thinking I'm about to be presented with, some harsh realities of what's going on in these school districts, like these traffic areas in front of our schools. And I'm like, we've had one fatality in our county. I don't know if a child has ever been hit in front of a school in our county. You want to know why? Because they didn't answer the damn questions. They're talking about pedestrians in general. Well, 95 or more percent of those pedestrians are adults. Adults! So why are you commingling all these? Oh, because you need the impact, because it's for the kids. Got it. Got it. And I went to the mattress over this argument because it was that chick right there that should have had the answers and could not. Now this is Bullhorn Betty doing what Bullhorn Betty does, because I want answers. You're asking for multi-million dollars in my county from people that live in my county. This is costing taxpayers in my counny money. I want to know where is it going? What is it doing? Are these the correct numbers?
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And you got to do that.
What I'd like to do is call for public comment.
Woo, doggy.
Thank you, ma'am. You know
It's getting hot in here.
Andrew Griffin, Manatee County activist. I'm going to tell you, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. I think the information we were just provided here is skewed, because you're asking for red light cameras to be in pedestrian areas.
She knows damn well I just called her out on her shit because she gave us shit. She gave us shit. So you can sit over there and sulk behind me, baby. But when you about to if you're gonna ask the taxpayers here of Manatee County to give you millions of dollars, you're gonna explain yourself, baby.
Manatee County activist, I'm going to tell you, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. I think the information we were just provided here is skewed, because you're asking for red light cameras in pedestrian areas of children's schools, school zones, yet we commingled all adult pedestrian accidents with those children. We're talking about spending money in Manatee County and taking taxpayer money and actually putting something in place that's going to cost taxpayers money in the future, such these tickets, and have this whole thing, which I personally fought to have those red light cameras removed from this community in its entirety. Definitely not these that were even entertaining bringing some back even in school zones, because we just had a presentation here that didn't even identify one issue in a school zone. None. We have pedestrians are higher but every time I'm running down the road, especially on 14th Street, some of these people are adults. Actually, a lot of them are adults making decisions to go out in front and try in front. So far, we have security people. What is it? Crosswalk people at every school, every crosswalk. So we have there. We're reducing the speed in those areas to 15 miles an hour. She says that if we have 20 miles an hour, people, their survival rate is at 10%. Or not the survival rate, but their fatality rate is at 10%. So we're doing everything necessary. And if we're going to be asking for specific traffic cameras in specific areas, I want all information related to those specific areas, not a collective problem. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you, ma'am.
They were not happy with Bullhorn Betty. I gotta tell you, because every one of those county commissioners want to put those damn cameras in these school zones. Now, I can tell you, this is the way politics goes. Like you got to go up there and give your best foot forward. Sometimes you win the argument. Sometimes you just don't. Okay. But we go to the mattress at some of these things, and it's just part of the process. So don't ever get, don't ever get, I don't know, off-putted. The reason why I'm showing you is because I inspire people, and I want people to get to their community and see. I want you guys to get comfortable in doing this. I want you guys to be your own voice in your own community. I know many of you work, but you definitely, if you want to, put time into something. You don't necessarily have to go to these meetings, but you can sponsor somebody that does, right? You can sponsor somebody that does. You get a group of people to help sponsor some of those. They start going after, I don't know if Kevin starts. I think Kevin started after this. So you got to listen to his comment. He kind of, it was hard because it was like I couldn't help but to laugh because, touche. I'm up there advocating for children, yet I don't want red light cameras into school zones. I mean, but you know what? At the end of the day, it's because I felt like they were, if I really thought that these would be beneficial, or save a life, I would be all for it. You know that. But I feel like it's a money grab. They can explain how it's going to help more than flashing lights, crossing guards, and officers out there. I mean, come on. Please tell me. Please tell me. That's all I'm saying. Convince me. That's the problem. They didn't convince me, and I called them on their shit. I don't think it was for the safety. We have safety precautions. It's for money.
Mr. Cruz? Are you on the board?
Oh, he's going to respond to me.
Oh, sorry. Is anybody else for public comment? Or I didn't see anybody coming forward, so. All right. Thank you very much. Mr. Cruz?
Yeah, I figured I'd answer since I'm the one who made the motion.
He is.
Commissioner Cruz pretty much said everything I wanted to say.
Right.
The only thing I would add, I know I like you, but you did come up here earlier in the meeting and you said, what are you guys doing to protect children? You need to do more to protect children. And we come back after the break and we have an ordinance to protect children and you say, I don't like that. Go away with that. I knew I ran for office. I wouldn't be able to please everyone. And I guess that rings true. All right. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
right. So it's hilarious because this is part of legislation. This is what goes on in county. This is why it's important to have good relationships with your politicians. We're in a 2024 election, guys. You need to be getting out there. You need to look at these people. It is your future for your community. I can tell you nothing gets past anything here when I'm at those meetings because I dissect everything like that because I'm for true crime community here on YouTube. Mess around. We just don't. Like I heard, I'm like, where's the kids? She kept going on. You guys should hear this presentation. I would play it for you if I could, but we're going to get into Savanah Soto. But she kept going on, waiting to hear the numbers for the kids. Like, because kids are my passion. And so I'm sitting here waiting to find, because I'm thinking, oh my God, do we have people hitting kids? You know what I'm saying? I didn't read the agenda before. I glossed over it before I got there, but I didn't dive into the damn agenda. And I'm sitting here, I'm kind of frantic when I start hearing this presentation about these cameras and this stuff. I'm thinking that we have a huge problem in our school zones. That we have this huge, like kids are in danger and they're getting run over. That's what I'm expecting to hear about our problems here with the children. Not one number this lady gave anything to do with the kids. Not one. And I actually went up there and corrected her because even KVO is like, what's a good number for you? How many kids have to die before you're going to put the damn cameras in the school zones? And I'm just like, I get your point, but we have children we have to wait, but we also have a heavy cost to the taxpayers, multi-million dollars when we don't even have an issue. That's my problem. Will we have an issue? We are a growing county. It may be one of those things that they're looking in the future and saying, look, we might as well go ahead and install these now, get people used to them in the schools. I don't know. I just personally like real bodies housed in there. I would rather pay our sheriff's department to buy them. I'm just saying. I just personally would.
Thank you, sir. We've had public comment.
Okay. And then lastly, I want to come up there because, here it is. Like I'm ready to drop the bomb on them. Like I'm screaming at them. It was laughing, and I did. I even told them I'm like touche from the back of the aisle because in all fairness, I am, I trust me, I don't mince my words. Nobody can say that nobody knows where I'm coming from. I tell you all because I have nothing to hide.
Okay. All right, you're good.
Here it is.
Thank you, Jake. What I'd like to do is open this up to public. And you have state your name, county of residence, and you have 3 minutes.
Andrew Griffin, Manatee County activist. I know I'm on the wrong side of this argument here for this board. Okay, I get it. But here's my issue. If they can tell me exactly how many children were killed in these pedestrian walkways in 2023 or 2022 or 2020, I would be on board with supporting it. But I'm all about numbers and factual information. And
What is the threshold? How do you want to die?
I don't want any. I don't want any of them. But the point.
What's the number?
I get it. But what the point is if we're going to be putting this in there, we want to make sure that it is actually effective. We've got lights. I mean, you're talking about lights and this and that, and it's still not stopping people. What do you think is going to make a camera people, all these light security people, crossing guards, sheriff's departments, if those aren't stopping the people, what do you think's got the camera's got to do? I'm just asking for a few friends. That's all I'm saying. We want to make sure that kids are safe. Of course, touche, right? I'm up here with my shirt. Mommy, why wasn't I going to not get it? That my stuff is not about, it's about the children being safe, but it's also about the taxpayers here in this county not being bamboozled again from more traffic cameras. I just want to make sure that we have the numbers to make a decision. If we have a huge problem in these crossing guards, absolutely, I'm 100% in support. I would support it. But nobody has determined that there is a huge problem in these areas yet to justify all this, even at zero cost to the county, because we know zero cost to the county is still cost to the residents of this county by means of those tickets, right? And those are the people that I'm also help protect and activist here in this county. So God bless.
Thank you, ma'am. So
that's how you do it, guys. Is it easy? Does it just roll off? I can tell you the first few times I did this, I'm gonna move on. I can tell you the first few times I did this. I had to read, get through it. I had to read what I was going to say. It's just the more you do it, the more comfortable you get. I just learned about that in at sitting there. I was able to come up with that speech. Just because at this stage, I know who I am. I know I work for my county. If I hear something that doesn't sit right with me, or I'm not hearing the information I need for people to make a determination, I'm going to cut shit out. Where are the numbers to justify the cost? And don't say it's no cost to the county, because you're asking taxpayers to pay $1 ticket. And you're talking about a multi-million-dollar contract with the camera company. So let's not say there's no cost here. Okay? There's millions for our taxpayers here in Manatee County, just for this one decision alone. So again, I'm on the wrong side of the argument. It looks like my county commissioners want but that's diplomacy, right? They heard my voice, they've evaluated the situation, and they made the determination. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. And this is going to be one that we're going to end up having cameras in our zones, despite my advocacy not to. But at least the people of the community know that I heard their voices, that they were concerned, that they did have a voice at that county meeting to advocate for them saying no, and not having to come under fire for saying no, or say, oh my God, you want to kill the kids? No, the kids ain't dying. I shouldn't even say it like that. It's a good problem to have, right? But you're also asking for multi-million dollars for kids, not losing children. Like, quit telling our residents, if we don't do this, we're going to lose children. We're not losing children in these crossing walks. I'm sorry, we're just not. Show me that we are. I may change my tune, but right now they couldn't even show me the numbers. They could only play on my emotion. Well, what's the cost? What does it need? Yeah, okay, now we got it. Okay, I'm not an emotional person when it comes to the purse strings of my community and my county. Let's get on with the rest of our conversation related to Savanah Soto. If you guys are new to the Savanah Soto case, Savanah Soto was an 18-year-old pregnant mom-to-be that was about to give birth to her child a day before she 24, 48 hours before she was supposed to give birth to her child. And her and her boyfriend just disappeared. Well, they found her and her friend about 4 days later behind an apartment complex, shot dead in the vehicles. They released a video. It showed a set man, what appeared to be a female, which ended up being Christopher Preciado, and somebody throwing a towel, which ended up being Mirta Ramos. Mirta Ramos just got a bail reduction yesterday or the day before, within the last week. Last few days, rather, from $1.1 million down to roughly about $600,000. And then Ramon is on the stand. We watched a portion of his testimony at the earlier segment this morning, and could not, because I had meetings to do, and I just finished and wrapped up with those. So now I am here to go back over some stuff, we're just going to rewind it about 10 minutes so we can kind of get our footings and get it back to where we remember. Let me ask before I do that, because we do have a little more time to spend on this in this segment than we did this morning. I was crunched on time. Is there anybody in the chat that has not watched the Ramon Preciado testimony, his hearing yesterday in its entirety? I mean, have you guys watched any? Is there anybody that hasn't watched this at all, where we do need to go back and catch people up? His bond was reduced to $450,000. I thought it was. It still, that still wasn't a significant bond reduction. Anything helps in a situation like that. I still don't think they're going to have the money to get them all out, but I can tell Christopher to get out. I don't think they're going. I don't know if they'll ever give him a bond for the heinousness of the crime. I don't know what law enforcement knows. The Preciado, Ramon's involvement was. We kind of have our opinion of how his involvement is, and what to the tune of what his involvement is, just based on the facts that we were able to get from law enforcement. But hers was stripped down. What I don't understand, and I still can't quite grasp it, and maybe somebody can help me with it, or maybe you guys haven't even noticed, or maybe you're not even talking about it. Maybe, I don't know. Does anybody find it odd that Mirta Romano's bond is so much higher than her husband's? Because we're assuming Raymond helped move. We are assuming that Raymond helped move Matthew. What if it was Mirta? In this testimony, I haven't watched it. So Pebbles, you haven't watched it? Yeah, he got a bond. His bond was about $600 and some odd $1,000 when he was arrested for his involvement when he was arrested with Christopher. But see, Mirta was arrested days later. I mean, maybe it may even have been a week or two. I don't remember, but I know there was a significant difference. Maybe it was just a few days. I think it might have been a few days. I don't think it was quite a week, but definitely a few days after they were arrested, because they were asking about this other person and who threw the towel and why aren't they being arrested. Mirta, when she was arrested, was her bond was $1.1 million, $1.1 million, and she just went to a bond hearing, and her bond was reduced to almost $600,000. My question is, why has her bond always been so much higher than Ramon's? Anybody find that odd? It seems, I always base the size of the bond based on the alleged involvement in the crime. Maybe I'm wrong for doing so. I don't quite get, maybe I missed something. And he doubled down, asinine questions. Yes. So Pebbles hasn't watched. Is there anybody else? I'm trying to decide how many people, who wants to start at 23:15, or who wants to start at the beginning of this. In the beginning, Betty, his was high. Yeah, and the what? Well, she locked the door. Yeah, she did try to prevent them. Oh, she has the additional charges. That's probably why. You're right. Because I think because even Ramon, I think, is only charged two charges, and I think Mirta. Actually, I think I got Mirta's. Let's find out. I got her charge sheet right here. Yeah, here it is. This is the affidavit. It doesn't, I don't know. Here it is. Victim of the case identified, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, this is the affidavit of the arrest warrant. I don't know what her I gotta look up what her charges are. I think this is the same thing. Yeah, I can't look on this. I've got the affidavits of arrest. I don't have the actual charges. But either way, so my question is 2432. Okay. Would you be opposed to us just starting where we're at? Or do you want to start? I mean, I don't mind. If you want to start it from the beginning, we can. But I don't want you being, well, actually, you know what? Let me do this. Let me catch you up to speed. That's what we'll do. That's what we'll do. We'll catch you up to speed. So let me get my notes out because I can catch you up to this really quick. So they were at this bond hearing for Ramon Preciado. If you remember, Mirta had just had her previous her bond hearing like a few before or whatnot, and she was reduced. So during this whole beginning part, there was a few things that were very, very telling for me. We may go back and look at those segments. But one of the things is they describe, oh, hey, Miss Robbins, nice to see you. Big virtual hug to you, honey. But they did see, but he did speak about not having money. And this is why I say Ramon Preciado lied. Once we get through this, we're going to go back to some of the conversations related to his finances and stuff like that. He is lying. Like, even the prosecutor is giving this man's cues, like, well, you have talked to them. Like, he's letting him know without saying, hey, dude, like, we listened to your recordings from the jail. We know you spoke to them about this. You know, so he keeps saying, but you have, because he's not allowed to testify. Remember that. So he has to keep walking him to the answer. And this guy's not budging. He's like, no, you know, and he's lying. He's literally lying about everything when it comes to the finances. And he's trying to say this, his son's just taking valuables and how they just need to eat. And, you know, yes, they're selling things, but it's just for their survival. And it's like, they're asking, well, your immediate family's all in jail. You're having your 3 hots and a cots courtesy of the county. And he keeps going, well, the family's got to eat. The family's got to eat. He's asking Raymond, do you take care of your son? And Raymond's like, no, I told you he's a workaholic. He works 3 jobs. Well, then why is he selling your stuff to eat? He didn't even realize he's making all these inconsistent statements. Like, I still don't think that man realizes how inconsistent and how intentional his lies appear to be. And that's where we're kind of at right now. We're in the process of him lying. Now, the prosecutor is kind of taking over, and Raymond is being smug. He's, you know, like, you're in here because a pregnant teenage female is deceased at the hands of your son. Most likely you helped move them. You were seen in a video driving to pick your son up from dumping the bodies, and you can have a smug look on your face. Like, I'm not a violent person, but I want to smack smug off. I have to be honest with you. If it wasn't for baby Fabian, I would sit on my hands. But I actually want to smack the smug off of him. Smack back. Hey, big boy, it's nice to see you, my loves. See, you gotta catch a show on the new channel. I hope you're doing well. All right, Smack Back Betty is in full play.
It's just little stuff they put away. Go to the houses and get robbed. Pretty much open target. So every day people are
actually, you know what? Let me just
breaking windows. And anyway,
let me just back up. Let me just back up just a little bit further than that. Let's start right about the 20-minute mark, because he's talking about some of the stuff that I think is everything in. I'm still showing that the signal is excellent on YouTube, but on StreamYard it's still showing me that I have like literally no service. Am I wonky at all? Am I buffering? Is there anything going on, or is it just the system playing games on me? Try to turn it to default and see if that clears it up. But I have a funny feeling it's not. It's just an irritant. It's something that happens if I don't do it right. Nope, you're good here. Okay. Well, then I'll just keep rolling. If that does change, let me know immediately.
So I cannot give you that. I could tell you what's going for right about now.
Okay, so somewhere between 1,100 and 1,800 in that neighborhood.
It's 18 right now, 1836 or something.
You said you're about 3 behind your college.
Can give or take. I have been here almost 2 months, so you know.
Are you aware of any payments that are made towards the mortgage since you've been in the jail?
I think my sister might try to make one appear. Something.
See, he's trying to act like he doesn't know anything. And that's what's irritating me. And you're going to see that the prosecutor corners him on a lot of these questions. And he just starts changing his answers, contradicting other statements.
And I know you said you weren't sure about the value of the home, but do you have an idea of how much equity you guys have in that house?
I have no idea.
Okay, would surprise you to know that Mrs. Ramon was about $100,000?
She probably would say something like that, but she doesn't know. She's just guessing. You probably put her on the spot. She probably just said something, some number. Has no idea. She doesn't keep up with that stuff. But if she said $100,000, she's very intelligent. She might look it up or something.
The house is in her name, so she's kind of the one who deals with that aspect of it.
That's correct.
And if Romano said that you guys had a vehicle that was worth $12,000, would she be talking about this truck with the mechanical issues that you mentioned earlier?
It's the truck that y'all took.
Hold on, let me see if I can fix it.
The truck that y'all took for evidence.
That's the one you think is worth $12,000?
Give or take, it's of 2014 or 15. So yes, I would say so.
But you think the other truck you guys own is worth about $3,000, I think you said.
Unless you put a new engine in the transmission, and you probably could pick it up. But at that point, you'll be, might as well get a vehicle.
And how much do you think Christopher's vehicle is worth?
Christopher doesn't have a vehicle. They would just lend it. They lent it to him. It was actually my sister's vehicle.
And that vehicle's been sold now?
I have no idea what's been happening here, sir.
But you've been communicating with your family and speaking with them since your incarceration, right?
That's correct.
You speak to your son and your sister pretty regularly, right?
To the most part.
And in fact, your family's been helping kind of liquidate the assets you guys have in the house, right?
I told him to move some of the personal items out. Yes, sir. The things that meant stuff to us. Nothing expensive, but just stuff that means something to us. You might have something that you have that you love as you're a child. It might not be worth that to anybody else, worth something to us. You know what I'm trying to tell you?
No, I understand. I'm just trying to understand what efforts your family's been taking to sell things on your behalf.
Well, I want to say things is just a few little things. They haven't even sold anything yet. I think it's just little stuff they put away. So the house doesn't get robbed. Pretty much an open target. So every day people are doing crazy stuff around. They're breaking windows and anyway, all that stuff.
And we have to take some of that as true because we saw what was written down the side of the one car. We did see that.
In fact, your son rented a U-Haul truck and haul all the stuff out of the house, right?
Let's look at that. I'm just going to pop this back up just real quick, and let's do some research. Let's do some research. So because I'm pretty sure. I don't know if they'll. Yeah, I mean, it's a small, I mean, it's not that big, but there is a, let me put it up on the screen. Let's go back. I don't like that. I went right to the video, and I just wanted to show you because they've got the photo at least on here. Share the screen. See? So it was a smaller one, but we don't know. There it is. I don't know how many feet that is because it looks like the smallest one, maybe a 16 foot, maybe a 20 foot or something like that. But that can move a lot. Okay. It can move a lot. It doesn't look like they were just coming for, just little stuff. I mean, little stuff, souvenirs can be taken in the pickup truck or other vehicles, in my opinion. They were coming there to pack up stuff. What stuff? Were they supposed to go through the house and get all the valuables? I mean, to be honest with you, in all fairness, I don't believe him. I don't believe that this is all they took. I don't think they took everything out of the house, of course, but I do think they took a significant amount of valuable items away from the home. That would have been for safekeeping? Yeah, that could have been. However, the prosecutors have conversations he's having talking about selling this stuff, not keeping it safe.
He buys little stuff that would help him, officer. When you say U-Haul, you use the word U-Haul, people think it's a big truck. No, it could have been a little bitty truck that he just said what he needed.
See, he's like, it could have just been like he's if he knew it was a little itty bitty truck, which it wasn't a little itty bitty truck, it was a moving truck. You have vans. If you were just getting a little stuff, you could have used a little van. So I don't know.
But I mean, the understanding is that he's selling these things to raise money for you guys. Is that correct?
As far as I know, he's not tried, but he hasn't sold anything yet, sir. He's just trying to put little stuff he don't want to break into the house.
And the idea is he's going to store the stuff somewhere and sell it at a later time.
He's is what he said. Who knows? He'll probably be sitting there, 2 or 3 years from now. Kids say something, they do something else. That's just the way it is. But hopefully, one day maybe get a little bit. We have to buy meds. We have to build. Bills have to pay. Be done. Poor people, that's how they do things.
Yes, it is.
Poor people sell stuff to buy their meds. Poor people.
Yeah. And so listen to this. Listen to what he's saying. Are you guys listening to the words he's saying? Now, mind you, his immediate family is all in jail. Now, granted, they do have their bills. If he has car payments, that car payment needs to be still made. But it doesn't sound like he needs to even make car payments on the car because at the end of the day, the cops have it in evidence. They're not returning it back just yet. So he has no vehicle. They have it. And I can tell you the repo man ain't coming to get it from the sheriff's department because they most likely have whatever's necessary to keep that car, whether payments are owed on it or not. So we have the vehicle. Now you got the house. The house probably has mortgage payments on it. I get that. But that is not what he's saying. He's not telling these people that, yes, they have to sell it so they can maintain bills. We got a lot of bills. He's playing dumb, and it will backfire. It will. It will. It absolutely will. Thank you, The Real Me Too. But this whole illusion that he would have been better off saying, yes, of course they're selling this stuff. They're actively trying to get me out. We can't raise the money. Then he's at least showing the courts that he's attempting to try to raise money. This whole thing about, I don't know, and nobody's checked on this. That's showing the courts that you're lazy and you don't even know what you're doing. You're asking the courts to reduce your bond when you don't even know whether you can get out. So we'll see.
Go and sell stuff to buy food, to pay bills. That's how we pay bills. When you have no money, when you don't have a regular check coming in. Do you understand that?
See, and he's being condescending. Again, Real Me Too. It's going to backfire.
They are giving meds, not the ones I need. Yes, sir. You are correct.
We'll talk about that in a little bit. In terms of what's been going on at your house, the idea is that everything's going to be moved out of this house and sold eventually.
That's not a true statement. Things are being moved. Little things. Yes, sir.
The plan is that house is going to be sold as well, correct?
No, sir. That's also not true. We're deciding to do a house, which is the one that destroyed in the process.
Have you talked to your sister about selling it on Open Door?
I have, and we discussed it, but there's no final saying. It's just the ideas. You want to sit there and starve, or you want to come up with some ideas? We're coming up with ideas.
So maybe that's what's been going on in the last 6 or 7 weeks. You guys have actively trying to raise money for bail?
We have to eat, we have to pay bills, we have to come up with an idea.
Well, your food is paid for by the jail, correct?
That's a true statement, but again, all food I can't eat. Why do you think I'm sitting here lost, feeling sick, shaking, having chest complications?
Well, here, you know what? Here, Ramon, let me help you out with this. Let me help you with it. You don't want to go through this, and this is for all the parents out there. When your child kills somebody, call the cops, call the attorney. Don't get involved. I don't want to hear your sob story, especially on the heels of seeing a young mother and her baby buried. I could give two shits if you're shaking. You're going to be shaking a hell of a lot more before this is all said and done, sir.
So when you say that, it is a true statement. I am not eating what I'm supposed to, not feeling like I'm supposed to, not taking my medication the way I'm supposed to, and not feeling the way I'm supposed to. Shaking, having nipples. I wasn't having nipples like that. I've never fallen on my face, head, and hurt my ribs. I have never, ever walked somewhere and not knew where I was.
Sorry.
I apologize.
Your bond. So that's all I'm asking about that. But so if I understand correctly, has any amount of money been raised for your bond since you've been put in there?
No, sir.
But
Maybe you can show me a receipt. I believe you, but I doubt it.
He hasn't told you that?
Yeah, he always says, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna try to do this. I'm gonna try to sell this," but he's probably sitting there. I guarantee you. I know my son. He always says that. He's a workaholic. He works 3 jobs. You know.
So why does he need to sell stuff to eat? Again, he doesn't even realize how bad he's contradicting himself. Like it's so bad. It is like literally bad. Which one's this one?
I mean, and they're all, he paid very little, so I guarantee they're sitting somewhere.
And then prior to being incarcerated, you're aware that you had a large amount of jewelry in your house. Is that correct?
Pawn shop, yes, sir.
And also in your house.
There's a little bit left, yes, sir.
And it's like in your pockets and things like that, in your clothing.
Yes, sir.
I would have to think they know exactly how much jewelry that man houses if it's in his pockets of his clothing, right? I mean, if he puts all his stuff in the pockets, I'm pretty sure when law enforcement went through that house to do the investigation, most likely after he was already in jail, they probably know exactly how much jewelry he has. I guarantee they probably have photography of all of it.
When I come somewhere, I'll put in my pocket when I go home. Who doesn't? Some people leave it on the dresser, some people leave it there.
Has your son been instructed to sell those things to raise money for your bond?
No, sir. If you heard that, you must have heard it wrong. What I said was, put it away, some of those family heirlooms. And what I said, though, but if you needed $1 to get something to eat, I'll put gas. Do what you gotta do, you know.
So the son that works 3 jobs, is a workaholic, obviously has money, taking care of his family, is not a dependent of this man here, Ramon Preciado, somehow needs food and gas money. Yeah, he is pretty cocky, isn't he? Like I said, he's condescending. Obviously it worked well for him. If he got $150,000 bond reduction, I mean, personally, I think there was other motivations behind the judge reducing $150,000. Do I think it's fair? I guess it's hard for me to determine whether I think it's fair or justified because, in all fairness, we don't know the true details. We know what we know, but we're all smart enough to know that we don't have all of it. We don't know what his involvement is. What his involvement literally was just going and picking up his son, as despicable as that is. It's $450,000 for picking up your son. Is that justifiable? I'd have to say yes. However, if he physically moved one of them, I would say hell to the nah. That shit needs to be double, not reduced. It's my opinion.
I mean, because again, you have to eat. That's just the way it is for people.
Do you support your older son who's out in the real world?
Do I support him?
I mean, financially.
Again, he's a workaholic. I haven't seen him who knows how long.
Do you support him financially? So I'm asking because you keep saying that you're letting him sell things to raise money for his food and things like that.
No, sir. What I said was, I'm letting him take care of the things. You're the one that said in that category. Yes, if he needs to get rid of things, if he needs to get something to eat, and he's not going to expect it to do it free.
Well, why would he need money from your jewelry all of a sudden just because you're in the Bear County jail?
You're the one that said that he needs my favorite.
I'm sorry,
I said
classy
if he
girl.
needs something.
The volume's up. I just
Isn't
messed
he-
with it.
That's what I said.
Well,
You also have to remember I'm deaf. I've got like one ear that functions. So when I do stuff, it doesn't bother as much as it bothers people with good ears. So I apologize about that. It's a handicap, but I live with it. You have to too. Thanks for being here though. Sorry about busting your eardrums. We'll try to be kind to your eardrums in the future.
again, the question that I asked you was, do you
Hey, Leaf
support
Lakers.
your older son financially?
No, sir, I do not.
The real Mewtwo knows. There's a
Have you ever
side.
had to deal with bond companies before?
No, sir.
And so are you aware of kind of their practice in terms of what they require as a down payment for any kind of bond?
Now let's play a little game. We have, like I said, we have a little more time this afternoon. This morning we just didn't have time to really go. We only had a allotted amount of time. I had a jam-packed schedule. I still have a lot of stuff to do personally, but we have a little more flexibility this afternoon. So I will do some polling on here. And I want to back this up just a little bit because it's about what he's about to say. Let's just listen. And then we're going to do a poll. And it's going to be about the bond. I want you guys to hear, or the bonding company, the bail bondsman. I want you to hear this.
Yes, if he needs to get rid of things, he needs to get something to eat, he's not going to expect it for free.
Well, why would you need money from your jewelry all of a sudden just because you're in the Bear County jail?
You're the one that said that he needs my favorite. I said if he needs something, he gets something to eat. That's what I said.
Well, again, the question I asked you is, do you support your older son financially?
No, sir, I do not.
Now, have you ever had to deal with bond companies before?
No, sir.
And so are you aware of kind of practice in terms of what they require as a down payment for any kind of bond?
I've heard a little bit, but not really.
What is your understanding of how that works?
They want 10 to 20% or something like that.
So 10% of the amount of the bond.
It's kind of my understanding. I haven't talked to him. I haven't dealt with anybody.
I know you haven't, but are you aware if your family has called around and checked? with
No,
bond
sir.
companies?
They don't have that kind of money.
Have you asked them to, well, how do they know if they haven't called around to check?
Okay, so that's that. Now that you guys got an opportunity to hear that, I'm still here. But the question is, are your ears still here? That's the real question. We know you're still here, but I'm sorry about that. I'll have to get you one of those little roll dials on your see, and then instant you can just roll the volume down. Okay, so here's the question. Who believes, this is a one or two question. One is going to be yes, and two is going to be no, okay? Do you believe that Raymond Preciado / family or anybody associated with Preciado or has been communicating, let's say communicating with him. So that includes family, that includes friends. So anybody that's been communicating with him while he's been in jail. How many of you do you believe that Raymond has no understanding of the bail bondsman and that nobody has tried to find out what the cost would be to get him out? If you don't know, geez, Louise, I'm confusing myself. Don't answer yet. Let me get the question right in my head. Who believes? Nope, that's an open-ended question. I need a yes or no question. Do you believe that Raymond has no idea the cost to get him out of jail? You're no match for Bullhorn Betty. Watch the mirrors. Watch the mirrors. You'll never do it fast enough because I never know when I'm going to do it. He knows. He knows. Yes, I feel like him telling them like nobody believes that. Nobody believes that his whole family went to jail and not one person picked up the phone to find out how to get them out. Who believes that? If you believe that, I just raise your, I know it's going to be hard, but please put your hand up. If you really believe that nobody would call to try to get this family out or find out the cost or find out what they need to do, if you truly believe that, put your hand up, because this is why. It's not to call you out or say, oh my God, you're crazy, right? We're not doing that. But I just want to know why you feel that way. Like, I'd really like to know, because I just can't imagine. Like, I try to put myself in some of these people's position, even though we don't have the experience to really do that, but you still try your best. And I'm thinking, how I would be if I just was blindsided and my aunt, uncle, and cousin just all went to jail for a heinous crime. And you're speaking on the phone with them and saying, Uncle Raymond, what happened? And maybe he's like, I can't talk about that right now. Well, what do you need from us? I just act. Right? That's going to be I'm trying to see how normal people, behavior would be. And that kind of seemed in my mind the natural progression of what is going on. Okay, I just don't see any family member just sitting on hands, having a whole entire family in jail, and not one person reaching out to the one company that can help solve their problem, a bail bondsman. Nobody in the family thought to say, hey, how much money do we need? Let's look at the situation and see how we get the money. Nobody said that. I mean, these people live in a house, they have vehicles. So naturally, I would think that they would be trying to see, be speaking to what we're willing to get rid of. We talked to the bonding agent. The bonding agent said, blah, 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 blah. I can't even imagine that his attorney didn't talk about any of this. It seems like a normal conversation his defense attorney would have with him. What are your assets you come up with? What can you sell? You're going to have to do something here. I'm just, trying to advise you a little bit. So this, and granted, that is attorney-client privilege, and he does not have to divulge that information. But, I still believe the family looked into it. I believe it probably made him sick to his stomach to find out how it all works. And that you're basically taking a match to 60 grand because it's going in somebody else's pocket. It's never coming back in yours. I think somebody did look it up, and it is, from my understanding, I thought he's saying that she's only, that Jessica girl, she's new. She's really sweet. She's from Canada. She really, like, her personality and everything kind of reminds me of Olivia. I have to be honest with you. I don't know her. I haven't reached out to her. I don't remember her channel. But I remember her name. Now that I say I remember her name is, I probably have her name wrong. This guy flat out con man and a liar. Yeah, I'm thinking. But you know what? One of the things that he did say in here that has me really, really, there's a few things. One is when he was being questioned, they asked him if he was the breadwinner, and he said to the best of his knowledge. And I kept thinking, your wife doesn't work. How could that be to the best of your knowledge? Does he know his son is a drug dealer, or what's going on with his son? He also described them having financial problems since the summer. And the reason why that was important for me, because I developed theories along the way as information is becoming available. And so one of the theories I was developing early on, but it wasn't until Mirta Romanos was arrested. It was at the conference after her arrest that made me develop this theory, because the officer that was giving that press conference, she had indicated that the actual drug deal happened earlier that evening. And so I've always questioned why they come back and why they would come back so late at night. And so we talked about the possibility of maybe Matthew shorting the package, or even fronting it, or fronting a portion of it to Christopher, and Christopher, has to pay that debt back. And maybe there was some kind of altercation, maybe in payment or something like that. So we did talk about those theories, but it still developed that maybe this wasn't a drug deal, so to speak, and more in line with a robbery. I'm now learning about this punk. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And so and we read the actual affidavit, and it says that the car didn't leave after it got to the Charlie Chan address. It didn't leave until 4 minutes later. Like, it happened. Everything happened. 2 people dead in 4 minutes. It's almost like an ambush, if you ask me. It doesn't sound like a drug deal that's gone wrong, because even if let's put in perspective. I'm a person that likes walking people through, not just coming up with things because it popped in my head, and so it has to be true. I want to put that theory to the test. Let's talk about the theory of them having this drug deal or an altercation before they were shot. You're talking about 4 minutes from the time they pulled up to the time that car was pulling off to drop them off, at the 9 minutes total from the time they were killed to the time they were dumped. That was pretty freaking quick. Pretty freaking quick. So let's put this in theory. If this was a drug deal, right? You got your drugs next to you. Let's literally do it. Let's walk through it and see how much time it takes. So now you're getting your stuff out, you're walking into the house, because we have to assume at this point, with all the information that is publicly available to the public, it appears that Matthew Guerrero was on the outside of the car when he lost his life, and Savanah Soto was on the inside of the car when she lost her life. That's the way it appears. Now, we don't know that factually yet. It's just based upon the information, factual information released by law enforcement. That appears to be the best assumption for what's in that affidavit. So that's what we assume. So we got the drugs. Matthew Guerrero's getting out of the car, and he's walking up to wherever so-and-so is. He has to hand it over. There has to be a little bit of this is a little short. Oh, you have all the money. Okay, let me just put it, let me not go through the long version of this. Let me put it down to the short version. The argument that would have been necessary to ensue to get to that point where somebody pulls a gun would have probably taken a lot more than 4 minutes. It seems to me that they would have been hostile to each other, screaming back and forth, having a commotion for at least 4 minutes prior to guns even being drawn. That's what I'm saying. If you really think about the process, how you have to get there. But in this particular situation, that's not it. They pulled up to the house, and in 4 minutes, that car is leaving. They believe both of those people were dead before that car ever left that property, and definitely dead by the time they were dumped out 15 minutes or 5 minutes later. It seems like an ambush. It seems like it was planned. It doesn't seem like this was just a drug deal. This seems very more probable to a robbery, in my opinion. It just seems so much more of that. But you know what? We don't have all the details. I have conjecture. That's the problem. But when we hear Raymond on the stand talking about having financial problems since summer of 2023, it makes you wonder, especially knowing everything that we've learned about Savanah and Matthew, riding around with big stacks of cash, guns, drugs, just all in the car. All they need to do is get over here. Thousands and thousands of dollars were seen in his cup holder. That's a lot for a family that's struggling. And they pull up, and within 4 minutes, both Matthew and Savanah are shot dead. That doesn't sound like any drug deal gone wrong to me. But again, I don't have all the facts. But based on the facts that I do have, it surely doesn't sound like a drug deal gone wrong. It sounds like a straight up robbery, if you ask me.
Because nobody has $1 million, 600,000 laying around. Nobody.
Well, you know that your bond is right now at a total of $600,000. So, but you don't know what a bond company would require in terms of the amount needed to make that bond.
Do somebody again, they want to have that kind of money.
Well, how do they know what they need if they haven't called and asked?
Sir, there's no way my family had 100,000, 80,000, 50,000 just to put somewhere. They got kids, they got families. There's no way they could put that kind of money. And that's the truth. There's nothing to say, nothing to give, nothing to be taken. If they don't have it, they just don't have it. Not that they don't want to help, they just don't have it.
You don't know if a particular bond company would do a payment plan, or you don't know what the terms of that would be, because you guys haven't called around to check.
No, sir, in here, I have not. That's a truth. And I have, but again, I have not called, I have not talked to nobody.
But you haven't asked your older son or your sister to do that either, right?
I told my sister,
You know what? Who said that? Love Lakers. Yes, we did pull up and did cover his criminal charges. Let me just see. Give me just a second. I'll pull them up. Let me let you guys see my face here. It's not stuck on his face. Give me just a few moments. Let me see what I did pull him up, so it shouldn't be too hard for me to find him again. And sorry, I had to reset my setting, my Google, and I don't want that one. I want this one. Why is it not doing that? Just a second, guys. Okay, let me get into the. They didn't even send it to me. Which email did it send it to? Maybe this one? I got too many damn emails. Not on that one either. Okay, Right email? Well, I can't, it's not even letting me into my account for whatever reason. I don't know why it's not allowing me to. Send verification. How long does it take to verify an account? All right, I don't have time for that, but I did look it up, and they were pretty serious charges. I've spent enough time trying to look for it. I don't know what's going on. It's not sending stuff. I don't know if it's just not refreshing. What is going on here? But it's just not sending anything. I don't know. I'll get it figured out. But we will go over Raymond's. But it was significant. I remember saying that he was the problem. I could see that whenever I did it, and I just don't know where those documents are. I don't know if I saved it or not. So I apologize about that. Thank you for bearing with me while I looked for that. But I can't find it. I'll continue looking behind the scenes while we continue to watch this.
Look around, but she doesn't have no idea what's going on with them. She doesn't. It is what it is.
To your knowledge, no one in your family is called around and checked with bond companies on your behalf.
No, sir.
And you said that if you were to be released, you would either reside at your residence on Charlie Chan or with another family member. Correct?
That's yes, sir.
That other family member, is that person live in San Antonio?
All my family is in San Antonio.
Is that person live in San Antonio?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that home be in San Antonio.
Yes, sir.
All right. Are you aware of this, like the situation at your house on Charlie Chan right now? What condition it's in?
Scared of the thought?
Does it have running water?
Probably not.
Does it have access to electricity?
Probably. I think my son said he tried to take care of that.
So it's possible it doesn't have access to electricity.
No disrespect, but I don't know. I don't know nothing about the house.
I know, that's what I'm trying to say. You're saying this is a place that you would go, but you really don't know what the situation is over there, or whether that's a good option for you.
Well, again, that is a true statement, but I have to live somewhere. So it would be either with my family members or the house. You ask where I would live, and that's what I'm telling you. I would have to make the best of it.
Are you a United States citizen?
Yes, sir.
And do you have a passport?
No, sir.
Have you ever had a passport?
No, sir.
Have you ever traveled to Mexico?
No.
Never?
I don't know the way in Mexico. What would I do in Mexico? Don't let my brown skin fool you.
He got really offended by that. Did you notice that? I mean, he was highly offended that he was asked if he ever been to Mexico. And it's just a little odd for me. If you ask me, it's a little odd.
It's a yes or no question.
No, sir.
And you said earlier, so to clarify, I'm sorry. You said you had a sick wife and a child in Bel Air County. Are you referring to Mr. Romanos and Mr. Preciado?
My son and my wife, yes, sir.
Why are you saying that they're sick?
Because they are. My wife might sound good, but her sugar's out of control. She plays that real tough, but she's not.
Yeah, I love how he says that. Listen to that. That's what makes me wonder. You know, her bond's higher than his. I don't know. Could she be a mommy dearest? You know, she be a mommy dearest? I wonder if she helped her son move the body versus Raymond. I mean, why is Raymond getting a smaller bond than his wife? It only really threw a towel and locked the door. Just doesn't seem right, does it?
Plays that real tough, but she's not. She's sick. You can see it in her eyes. When she walks, when she talks.
You can see it in her eyes. You can see that she has. How many people in my chat room right now? I mean, come on here. I can guarantee you we got 60 people in here. I guarantee there's probably a half a dozen people or more in this chat right now that has diabetic issues. Now, you guys all know that it does get wonky and sometimes it gets a little out of control, but you try to balance it the best you can. And when you can't balance it no more, what do? You get an insulin pump. Not the best thing. You don't like the idea, but they have so much technology out there to keep this stuff stopped, So this whole issue is not that she's dying of cancer or, she's got this horrible breathing or, renal failure, what you would equate to being a sick person. She's got diabetic issues, which millions of Americans deal with every single day. He got diabetic issues. I don't like the pity party.
The sugar's so out of control. Most of the time, hers are just everywhere. And I know, because I've seen her check it. And it's 300 or 400 sometimes 200, 300. Sometimes she's eating that. She's so spoiled, so at 500. So I know that Christopher, he has breathing problems. Sometimes I stay up and just watch. We stay on, because already he won't wake up in the morning.
Oh, Christopher now has breathing problems. And I think I made my statement on the breathing problems and how, let's just, breathing problems as he takes breath out of 3 human beings. Poor him, has a hard time breathing. Interesting.
And that's reality. And most say we're county jail right now. And yes, I know
exactly
what is going on, but you understand that. But again, they're sitting behind bars and they're both sick. Whether you think that's true or not, you can check their doctor records. You can check, they'll tell you what's going on with Christopher. And my attorney will give you a list if you want. And there's nothing to say. Yeah, I mean, that's the truth. There's no lying. Doctors don't lie. They write it down.
Oops, wrong one.
Again, I told you she's a strong woman.
Just circling back real quick to the bank account situation. You said you believe that your bank account is probably negative. Is that what you said?
I don't know where I'm checking it, but yeah, most likely it's negative.
Now, you guys don't have just one account, you have multiple accounts, right?
No, sir. Me and her share. She has a personal account.
And then you share an account with her aside from that?
No, sir. We have an account together. Then she has her own little thing that sometimes she works with Chris.
That account that you have together, is that your business account?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what is the business that you account for? Generally, I'm not asking for the name of it or anything like that.
It's an air conditioning contractor.
So what kind of work do you do? You're a conditioning contractor, and you testify to that. You've been doing that a long time, correct?
All my life, electrical and air conditioning, sir.
Who do you contract with in general? Are you contracting with residential people?
Residential, commercial.
Residential and commercial?
Just schools, sir.
And what is the name of the company? Judge Approach.
So they're back up at the they're welcome back now.
Mr. Preciado, how long have you had
Between 11 and 13 years. Don't quote me exactly, but right around there.
And are you the owner of the company?
I like to say my wife's the owner, but I'm the boss. But yes, I'm the owner.
There you guys have it. So now he's trying to say he's broke. He's trying to say that his family has no money. His wife owns the home, so he's trying to distance himself from any type of, liquid cash they can get at that, which is not really liquid because it's a process. Liquid cash is basically what's in your checking account, what's on your persons, things that you can get cash right here, right now is liquid. So there's a little more involved in it, but they have been a family unit for 30 years. And I can tell you that there are some beautiful souls in my chat right now that have been blessed with 30 years with their loved one. And I can guarantee you, hearing that something is his and something is hers is probably not in their lingo. It's theirs. It's ours. Even the idea, no matter whose name's what's in, it's like, you don't long think of it like that. I was only married for 10 years, and I can tell you, anything I owned was my husband's, and anything my husband owned was mine. It didn't matter whose name was on it. Quite frankly, both the vehicles that I got had my husband's name on it. They needed to be transferred to me. They were my vehicles. But he just happened to be the person that was home that could take care of the tag issues that day. And it was either put him in his name or I had to take off work and come down there. You see how that works? But we're married. You don't think of his and hers and stuff. You just do what you got to do. If it needs to go in this person's name, it needs to go in this person's name. Talk to somebody that has a couple houses, right? A vacation home or something. You may choose to use your spouse's on the mortgage documents, or you'll have to be on the deed if you're married. In many cases, I would presume. But I think they're, even for business, you don't have to put your spouse on a transaction. I think there might be some state laws that require that. I can't remember. I should be careful. But I just, the people that have been married, I was only married for a decade. And I can tell you that this is my husband's, this is my wife's. That was not in our conversation. And that was only after 10 years. I don't even think that was in our conversation after, marriage. There was no his and hers. Well, I shouldn't say that. There were his and hers bank accounts because I didn't co-mingle my money. You know what? I just, it's just one of those things, we have a joint account and separated accounts. Sorry, baby. All my money ended up going into the one account anyway, so it really didn't matter, right? It kept getting broke. Pretty soon it's like, well, damn. Every damn thing. Even the damn tools. But you know what? I got the house. I got my car, and I had a pickup truck. Sold it. But had it.
And do you have any employees?
I contract out if I need to.
For employment, for labor?
If I need to, including Christopher.
Oh, he contracts out. So basically what he's trying to say here, let me break construction lingo down for you guys. He paid his guys under the table. Okay? This is what you're about to find out. He paid the guys under the table, even though they were clocked employees. He had them fill out a 1099, and he gave them full pay and didn't take taxes out. It's a racket in the construction business. It's been working for centuries. So why when they catch them, they catch them. But in the grand scheme of things, I tell you, no matter what laws are in place to prevent this stuff from happening, it happens all the time, and I can smell it a mile away. What he is describing, what we refer to as being paid under the table. That means that the actual worker, they want this set. It's not like they want this because most of these workers are cash workers. They don't file taxes. How do I know? Because I've been in the freaking construction industry for a really long time. Okay? This is what he's describing, being paid under the table, and he's going to have to describe it like this because he's got to explain where his money is going, and he probably hasn't paid taxes nor unemployment compensation on these guys. Now, I could be wrong. He might have what is called a leasing company. And what they do is they send these people over to the leasing company. The leasing company charges him money, and the leasing company takes care of all the taxes, insurance, and yada, 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 yada. You get it. Okay. If anybody needs help in further explaining this, I will be happy to give you a one-on-one Bullhorn Betty presentation myself. No, I won't. No, I won't. I'm going to send you to Google and tell you to look it up.
For helping me.
If you're not contracting out, you don't have employees.
Say it again.
If you're not contracting out, you still have a payroll.
Sure I do. Me and Christopher. And most of the time me. So we're still considered employees. Might be the owner, but I still turn a wrench.
Is your wife on the payroll as well?
She's not on the payroll, but she helps me with the paperwork.
And do you know how the business is organized? Is it sole proprietorship, LLC?
Sole proprietorship.
And so you pay taxes on
Yeah, most definitely. Yes, sir.
So sole proprietorship, man. Not a smart guy. Okay? Not a smart guy at all. Mm-mm. When you're in a business like that, and probably why the house is in his wife's name. I'm going to break this all down for you and let you guys understand it. So what he is basically saying is he is not, he's licensed. He's licensed and he has a business, but he's not an LLC and he's not an S corporation. He's too small to be a C corporation, but you can do one or the other, an LLC or an S corporation. Each of their own has their own different types of protections for the owner. I personally like the S corporation, just me personally. Limited liability company is great. It is great for, say, construction people, right? Even in construction, though, I do like an S corp. It just gives you a much better shield as an owner, in my opinion. But there's advantages and disadvantages in both. But he's saying he's not any of that. He is himself. So he has a air conditioning company. He's licensed to do air conditioning, but he doesn't really have a business. He may be doing business as, say, Preciado HVAC systems, right? But he's a corporation. Preciado HVAC Systems, Inc., or LLC. So there's no business protection for the people he's working for or for himself, which makes me wonder, did he have the proper liability insurance? This means when he comes to your house and breaks something, this is the kind of man we're dealing with here. He has a license, but no business common sense at all. And I like, these are, in my opinion, I'm not saying he's a bad contractor or anything, but these are the types of people that these are why you hire probably not this guy to do the job. Because people are probably letting this guy come into their house thinking he's properly insured and proper at all this stuff. And he very well may be. I don't know one way or another. I'm just saying, it makes me very questionable because he's doing this as a sole proprietorship and not as an actual LLC. If you've been running a business for 11 and 13 years, why would you not be an LLC or an S corporation? Because what happens if he damages the property and can't fix it? They have to come after him personally. So he just jeopardized all of his assets. But now he doesn't really have any assets personally because all of his assets are probably in his wife's name, shielding them illegally. I would be questioning this right here is bad for me, business-wise. Is it a crime? Yeah, I think there's some civil stuff going on here, with the employment in taxes and stuff like that. I think there might be, now he's in a situation. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets the IRS stuck up his rear end as well, because it sounds like he's been a little shitty. And now he's on national news. And I'm pretty sure that somebody, at the IRS has got watching this stuff, right? I mean, you just have to assume that somebody is. and they hear this, bells are ringing. They're flying.
And again, I know you're saying you're doing residential and commercial, but how do you get business in business?
Advertising.
So do individuals call you if they have an issue with their house or HVAC repair?
House, commercial, yes, sir.
And how do you do commercial business?
Same as the residential, they'll call, they'll ask me questions.
Do you have some regular customers that maybe call you, on an annual basis or regular basis?
Yes, sir, I do. Some very good people.
You've been doing this for almost 13 years, you said.
Yes, sir, and again, some very good people.
How much of your business comes from repeat customers?
20 to 30, depending on the year.
That's actually not bad, to be honest with you. If those were accurate numbers, I do find it hard that he's very accurate on these numbers, but he can't say what the value of his house is. I just find that he doesn't seem to have any problems answering these questions. All just an observation. We'll see if he starts choking here in a second.
And do you know the balance of that business bank account?
As of right now, that's the account we're talking about. It should be negative.
And do you have any knowledge about what is in your wife's account?
No, it's probably negative too. It was not like nothing in there. If there's anything there, it's because of Chris. To school.
Chris was going to school. Unbelievable. What would make a kid do this? I don't believe Raymond is penniless. I just don't. I just don't.
Now, if you were to be released and Ms. Ramon and Mr. Preciado were released, would you guys still live together?
In my world, that's all I have.
Is that yes?
Yes, sir.
So y'all would be free and y'all would be together.
Yes, sir.
I'm curious, Texas Nan. I want to know. Well. Yeah, I'm curious to find out what some of the comments are. Can you kind of summarize some of the comments? I mean, on the not highly rated aspect of it? What were some of the stars that he received and some of the comments that were made? Because he seems like, not a very studious business person, especially somebody that's been in business for 13 years. It kind of sounds, not that he has rental properties, but just slumlordy, I guess is the best. You guys get my gist. I mean, it's just, he just doesn't. I've been around a lot of construction companies and people and even, some pretty messed up bosses, right? Not that I've worked for or anything. On the construction site, dealing with other different contractors and things like that, you see like the head honchos on there, and some of them, to be honest with you, are drunks, which is a little concerning, but they're not working. They have their employees working and whatnot, but they're a hot mess. So it's like, not that this guy, I'm not trying to imply he's drinking in any way, shape, or form, but I'm just saying that even they have more business sense to have a business, a legit business, LLC or S Corp, and they're at least a few of their guys on the books. So I don't know. That's what makes me a little standoffish about the type of work he did, because this is I'm hearing stuff that I would be warning people about when looking for a contractor, especially something as expensive as an air conditioning unit. You don't want to have somebody monkeying your air conditioning unit or rigging it so it works and is causing more damage. I don't know if he would do that, but I wouldn't put it past him at this point, is all I'm saying.
So your attorney mentioned your criminal history a little bit. In fact, do you know the first time you were arrested, what that was for?
I don't remember, sir. I don't remember.
Okay. Do you remember being charged with unauthorized use of a vehicle in August of 1988?
Yeah, I do now.
Okay. And what happened with your case? What was the outcome?
Nothing. Everything satisfactory.
You're on probation, right?
Yes, sir.
On that case, do you remember a period of time where you failed to report to the probation department for a period of time?
No, sir. I don't think I ever failed to report. If it was, it might have been the time that I was in the hospital. She wrote, but then when I talked to her, we cleared everything up.
So,
in my line of work, there's a lot of work injuries, a lot of injuries. In my kind of work, you'd be lucky if you get home that night.
Oh, come on. I mean, yes, air conditioning can be dangerous. So can electrical work. So can plumbing work. So can driving a freaking car. Did he? Oh, sorry. Turn the volume down. Good Lord. Good Lord. Good Lord. I can't. I just can't anymore. Look at it. You got to see the face. Come on. This man doesn't even believe his own.
Bullshit level, DEFCON 5.
Yeah. You guys heard it.
Industrial work, and it's.
Do you agree with me, though, when you're on probation for a felony charge, it's so important to follow all the rules of probation?
I always do. That's why I followed them all correctly, 100%. They're all satisfactory. And then somebody even got commended on my probation. All of them. Actually, I even talked to a couple of them. They're real nice people. They're good people, good-hearted people.
So you were placed on 6 years deferred, adjudicated back in August of 1988.
6 years. Wow.
You have to confirm with my lawyer, but I think that's about right.
Okay. And in between the period of April to June of 1992, you did not report to probation, correct?
I don't see the numbers. You have the numbers in front of you, sir, so I'm not sure.
You said that was about when you were.
But in all fairness, we're talking about 1992. Come on, Cupcake. Like that. I mean, granted, that's what the prosecutor is supposed to do. He's trying to fight to keep this man behind bars as much as possible while the defense is trying to get him out. So this is part of the process, and I get it. But, I don't think that we should put a whole lot of weight in 1992 crimes. I'm sorry. In all fairness, I just don't see where, unless he was still committing crimes, from 1992, like a Don Wells. Don Wells has been committing crimes for 40 years. He hasn't stopped committing them yet. If this guy hasn't been in trouble and this is like the only bone you got to chew on, I'm sorry. I just find I find it petty and irrelevant.
I have no idea, sir. It's way back then. I'm going on 54 years old, sir. I barely remember what I did
Exactly.
yesterday.
I mean, this is.
So if you're telling me you're looking at the paperwork and that's what it says, then that's what it is.
I mean, I gotta be honest with you. I'm 44 and I barely remember my 20s. Okay.
I'm not looking at the paperwork, sir. So if that's what it says, then I believe what you're telling me.
If the probation department sent in an MTR, motion to revoke, that you were reporting during that period of time, would your probation officer be telling the truth?
I don't remember having no MTR, sir. But they would do if there was something like that on your paperwork, but I never had no MTR.
And you don't remember having an MTR, but do you remember having to come to court for one, and after you've been a Usually for a couple months after the was filed?
No, I don't remember. If you have it in front of you, you have it in front of you, but I don't remember that. I was, a young kid.
You would agree with me that reporting to a probation officer is.
Let me ask you guys something. Do you, and maybe some of you guys have the experience. I got some wild ones in here. There's some people like me up in here, okay? Let me ask you guys, would you guys remember the details of something like this from the 90s? I mean, seriously, at that time, I think I was 11 years old, and I just, I try to remember, what did I do at 11 years old? What did I get in trouble for at 11 years old? Now, granted, I didn't have any criminal activity at 11 years old. For the people in the back that don't have brain cells, that's not what I'm saying here. That is wholly untrue. But either way, I'm just trying to think, who would remember that? I mean, yeah, well, it was a traumatic, an event in your life, and you probably remember the event. But could you remember those finite details? Like, you probably remember the main problem that you had, but getting in, trouble here and trouble there years ago. I mean, I guess he would have to, if he went to court for it, I'd have to think that he could remember that. But again, looking back on it, I don't know. I'm just not sure. No, I wouldn't. Yeah, I'm just trying to be fair. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be fair here. I'm trying to think of something back in 1992. Would I remember? I just don't know. I would. I remember everything. Sure, there's a blurb that of an event that pops up in my mind that I remember. A memory. But and I can assume I'm between this age and this age, right? But do I really know? I mean, even in my 20s, if they were asking me questions, well, I don't know if it was this one or went with this one, right? I don't know. Bullhorn Betty was in a lot of trouble. Okay, what can I say? But you know what? In all fairness, it doesn't sound. Maybe he was in a lot of trouble. He didn't have a whole lot. I don't know. I don't know what his excuse is, but I don't think he would have remembered. I don't know if I would have remembered. I'm not sure.
Very similar to reporting to a pre-trial officer that deals with people that have cases, right?
I agree 100%, sir. Yes, sir.
Also,
I'm betting my life on it.
And on that same, around that same time, you were also charged with evading arrest, correct?
Those were all put together. I think you're separating, but they were all one thing.
Okay, so that was part of the unauthorized use of the vehicle.
Guys, I just want to let you know I'm pouring coffee.
Yeah, there was.
It's just really close to the microphone.
Different things, yes, sir.
And then later, in 1994, you were charged with assault bodily injury.
Oh, let's go back to that. I can barely hear it. Hold on.
Yeah,
but let's go back to that because they're talking about his crimes. I'm going to go back.
I read it, I'll tell you.
Did you go to jail?
Let's go back there.
Time you were also charged with evading arrest, correct?
Ooh, evading arrest. Somebody was just asking about his criminal history. Here we go.
I agree 100%, sir. Yes, sir.
We're going to start it from the beginning so we can listen.
I'm betting my life on it.
And on that same, around that same time, you were also charged with evading arrest, correct?
Those were all put together. I think you're separating them, but they were all one thing.
Okay, so that was part of the unauthorized use of the vehicle.
Yeah, there was some things on there, different things, yes, sir.
And then later, in 1994, you were charged with assault bodily injury, correct?
I don't remember the date, but yeah, that's correct.
And what happened with that case?
You got it to me, and I'll tell you.
Did you go to jail or did you get probation?
Probation, I don't remember.
And then in February of 1999, you were arrested for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, correct?
Aggravated assault
That's
with a
correct,
deadly
sir.
weapon. Like I said, for those that were here for the morning show, and the ones when we started talking about Raymond Preciado, I have not been easy on this man right here, because at the end of the day, he brought this nonsense into his home and he planted the horrible seeds that his children grew later in life, including Christopher Preciado, which ultimately took 2 people's lives, including an unborn child. This man was not a good man at this era of his life. Now, I don't know if he changed or if he just got a little better. But I have to say, he's behind bars. So the proof is kind of in the pudding, if you ask me. But he's there before a court of law, and according to the court, he's innocent until being proven guilty. But that's not here on the Bullhorn Betty channel.
Right, and in that case, it was alleged that you stabbed somebody, right?
Yes, sir. He came into the house. I had to do what I had to do.
And you pled guilty to that.
It was the only way to keep me outside working.
And you were placed on deferred adjudication for 5 years, correct?
Sounds about right, yes, sir. The judge agreed to meet with me that the case should have went my way, that I should have went to court and fought it. But again, I told him that, I needed my livelihood. I have to survive. You know what I mean? So he agreed for me. That's why I only got 5 years. And the judge would tell you should have got 10 for probation. But he only gave me 5 because he agreed that what had happened was self-defense and I should have taken it to court.
So you entered a plea on that. You took responsibility for that case at the time.
I take responsibility for everything I do, sir.
Okay. Yeah, let's not forget the comment. What was his comment that he said when he came out of when he was first arrested? Does anybody remember that smart ass comment he made? Fake news?
And you mentioned earlier with the attorney about a federal case that you had. What was that case for?
That same case, something had happened, and I tried to purchase a weapon. I just signed some part. The guy filled it out for me, and I got in trouble for it.
Oh, so he didn't do nothing wrong. He just had somebody fill out some paperwork, and he signed it. He just got in trouble for it. No big deal. We can move on.
For a firearms offense?
I never got the firearm. It was just the guy filled it up. I signed it.
That's not the charge. I don't even know what happened with all that. But like, this was for unlawful possession of a firearm, correct? What were you charged with? You know.
I was trying to buy a firearm. I never got a firearm. It was just paper I signed.
All right. So something to do with firearms. And were you sent to federal prison for that offense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How long did you go to federal prison?
1 year, 1 day.
And then you said after that you were on supervised release for how long? How long were you?
Well, a year, I think. I'm not sure. Maybe less.
Do you remember like the time frame, the year, or anything like that?
Who knows?
Was it after you were on the probation for aggravated assault? I
think they kind of ran together. The probation officer said that we were doing real good. I was doing real good. So they just kind of ran together. They kind of knew each other. So he said, "Oh, you're a very good guy. We're going to just do it like that." So that's how it happened. So how they just ran them together.
Get yourself up on that pedestal there, buddy. Go ahead.
Everybody seems to think you're a pretty good guy.
I would tend to agree, except you.
Okay. So this guy has been, from my understanding, in jail for stealing a car. Aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. Unlawful possession of a firearm, whether he held it or not. He wanted to have it. He filled out the paperwork to get it, knowing he was a felon. But and all this time, the good guy that likes to commit aggravated battery and steal cars, everybody just seems to really like The judges even just love him and pull him aside and talk to him. Like, I've never heard a judge do that before, but hey, I digress. I don't know. Don't know. Not wasn't there. Have no information to say this man isn't being truthful. I just don't believe him. Just saying.
Probation officer said they would see your model probationer and stuff like that.
I've been in this business for 28 years. I know a lot of good people. And I tell you, I've never done anything wrong. I'm a good guy. You might have a lot of paperwork there, but that doesn't describe a person. That describes a boy. When a man changes who he is, he does things right. Things happen, and you have to deal with it. And here we are dealing with it. But like the judges here, I'm here to do right. And I ain't going nowhere because my family's sitting in Bear County, let me tell you. And we're going to get through this because that's all I know how to do is survive. And believe me, we will get through this.
Well, in the early 2000s, you weren't a boy, you were in your 30s, right?
Oh. Okay, he's getting there. But still do stupid shit. But I have to, it kind of frustrates me about how we're going to get through this. There's two families that don't have that opportunity. And I want to remind everybody in here while we're listening to this, those families were the families of Savanah Soto and Matthew Guerra, as they were about to expect their first child into this world, baby Fabian. And his son robbed those two families of something that is completely, utterly irreplaceable. The value is so great, there is no value. But I'm glad that they're going to be able to get through this somehow, some way.
A boy of mine, in my mind.
Mr. Preciado,
The age doesn't exactly make you a man. Mentality does.
I agree with that.
I'm a man now, and I plan this way. And I've been doing that for the last 20 years, 24 years, and I plan to stay like that because I know no other way. When God touches your heart, that's all there is. There is nothing. As long as you.
Oh, my pastors are probably going to smack me the some prayers here in a second, because I know we need people that are in there to hand themselves over to God. We need them to be godly and stuff like that. But I just want to ask, if I have an opportunity, because I'm a little enraged, and you guys know when I hear something that enrages me, I get really calm, and that's probably the worst place I could be, right? Because sometimes when I'm unglued, that's why I calm myself, because I want to make sure that beast in me doesn't come out. I just know what God was when he's helping his son cover up the death of two bodies, the murders of two people. Where was God then for him? Where was God in this change, this change he's had for 24 years? Where did all that change go? Because I'm sorry, I still have a sneaky suspicion it took two people to handle Matthew Guerra. Was it mom or was it dad? And then where was God in all of this? But God's here now while he makes the stand.
Be with you, no matter who gets you, and that's just the way it is.
Now, you had talked about your doctorate on the outside room.
That's correct.
What? What court and why? Who got arrested?
And don't ask me about spelling this.
I haven't checked my messages.
Now, after he's with university, the university health system.
That's correct. I think he does other practice too, but university is what we met.
Right. That's where you really go for care when you're on the outside.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, do you know who provides the medical care for you for inmates in Bel Air County?
The same.
It's university, right?
Yes, sir. That doesn't mean getting the medications right, because if not, the medications would have debris in them. I wouldn't be in different milligrams. I wouldn't be sick. I would be thrown on the floor at 3 o'clock in the morning because my sugar is so low. That doesn't mean you're getting the same people. Just because you're getting the medications.
Oh, come on. Okay, first of all, you just acknowledged being basically, you know how this game is played. This is not your first rodeo, buddy. Okay? I can promise you, I was in his situation, which I would not be, because if I had children, I have stepchildren and grandchildren, but I can guarantee you, I ain't moving a dead body. Okay? I'm not one of those types of parents. I'm surely am not. I am not sticking my neck out. Not like that. Get you the best attorney. I will tell you to keep your mouth shut. But don't you dare. No, there is no possibility of me ever being in this man's situation. Ever. But I have to tell you, I don't know. Savannah's mother during break at bond hearing for failure to give information. Failure to give information. Was Savannah's mother uncooperative? Because I had another theory about this man as well. And I would say somebody failing to give information when a missing daughter is not cooperating. Okay, period. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So in the courtroom, why have they not charged the baby? I don't know why they haven't spent the night in jail waiting for the bond, and I don't know if she's out yet. Oh my God. They should, well, you know what? If she failed, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that, because time was crucial. Time was crucial. And if her mom was unwilling to give information that was necessary to find her daughter, I'm sorry. If we're going to say one thing, we got to stick by it. Even as a victim's parent. I mean, I think that they should have been given some leniency on it. I don't think they should have been charged, not charged. I think that should have been, but there's a way to handle situations like this, such as go ahead and fixing that she can just go in and give her fingerprints and be immediately released. They set types of things up all the time. All the time. That woman has been through enough. But again, maybe she, and a lot of people say, well, why wouldn't she have quit? Well, maybe she didn't want to tell them information that would have had the cops looking at her daughter because her and her boyfriend were fighting. They didn't know what was going on in the beginning stages of this. They were thinking Matthew had something to do with it. They were probably trying to protect both of the kids. In the process, it probably obstructed justice a little bit. And if that's the case, law enforcement has to do what law enforcement has to do and let the courts figure it out. But I think out of common courtesy and respect for what she has already gone through, unless it was actual contemptuous and just, if she was just refusing to help, which I can see kind of at the beginning, maybe she was. I mean, it's her daughter. She knows what lifestyle her daughter lives. Maybe not trying to bring too much attention to that. I can see that. It was a previous incident. It's on TikTok. Yeah, I haven't watched. I've been producing so many videos. I haven't even had an opportunity to dig in other than this right here. That's why we're going over it. It was a previous incident. Okay. So then good. I'm glad it was a previous incident. It might have been related to her son. I don't know. Or maybe another crime in general. We know that that was their lifestyle. But it's still a timing and a time and a place type of thing, though. I mean, she just lost her daughter. I don't know. I just thought, I think that, I did not know that. I think that was horrible and poor. Thanks for letting me know, though.
You're not getting the vacation you need. That's a big difference. If I sold you a car and I say, oh, just put the engine in it, that's not true. You need to put the engine that the car needs. That's just the way it is. I'm not getting what I need. And yes, that's in no word, and I can't be picky, but I still have a right to live. You can't just give me any medication, especially stuff that's already shut down my kidneys. I have a right. You have a right.
We have rights.
You were getting the same. You were getting medical care from the same place you were getting it when you were free out in the world before this.
That's a statement, but I'm not getting the tea. You're not getting the same medications.
Yeah, dude, you're in freaking jail.
Other medications, they're not the same milligrams. They're not the same medicines.
Now, listen, for this argument right here, I just don't see why they just don't give the man what he used to take. Shut him up. Why would, and I have to agree, why would he even remotely change his medications? If he had certain medications, he should have been getting them. Period. If there's no generics, you know what? It's not, I don't know why doctors do that. What they do is you get in here and they want to start, bringing costs way down. And so they give you all this generic stuff to keep costs way down. I mean, let's face it, you're on the tit of the government. You're in prison, right? Trust me, the quality here sucks here. And I think that there are third-party companies that are abusing our jails, our jails across the country. I think that we have allowed these companies to take over these jails. They're way high to run. I've seen, like, when I've gone and visited people there, what they have to eat in those vending machines and the cost of those things, the commissary, that all is ridiculously overpriced. It is ridiculously overpriced. This is a freaking jail. Yes, we want the companies that are doing this, and I know they have to have certain regulations and stuff like that, and I'm sure those are built into some of the costs because they got to make sure people aren't shipping shit in, right? There's a security level that's fired here, but their costs don't justify that security level. They're way ridiculously expensive. Commissary items that are there are ridiculous. To have a bag of potatoes, they're at baseball stadium prices here. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and I think it is a money grab. And I'm so sick of people utilizing our government systems to make a buck. And our government should be handling this, and they're not. If anybody has any family member in jail, you go in there and get some commissary items. You go put money on the books and see how far it stretches. It's ridiculous. It's not like they have a whole lot to choose from. They should at least make it somewhat affordable for these families. Because let's face it, it's not the inmates paying for it. Jerks.
From one branch to another and say, oh yeah, you can take that one. That's not true.
Now, when you were
Thank you.
in jail, have you been dealing with doctors over there that are in the infirmary?
I've dealt with a few that don't too much listen to me, but I try to know what's going on. They're not real. They really don't really pay attention. They just want to give you what they want to give you. But again, I've been.
Yeah, thank you. And that's appalling to me. I have to be honest with you, the real Me Too. I would show it. In all fairness, I would show it. But seeing the circumstances and how wholly disgusted, I mean, I know the cops have to do what the cops have to do. But I'm not going to embarrass that lady anymore, not on this platform. I think she's lost enough. I just want to support her and love her and let the systems do what it has to do. I do pray that she's out of jail. That woman does not need to be in jail. I don't see her going anywhere. So hopefully the people in that community are doing the right thing. Hopefully the courts are doing the right thing and making sure that she's home with her family where she needs to be.
Been around for a long time, and I can just give me what you want.
And aside from, I mean, you know that those doctors that are over there, they actually rotate out from the main university. You know that?
That being said, has nothing to do with medication. That's not correct.
I've heard what you said with medication. I'm asking you a simple question. Since you've interacted with these doctors, do you know that they just rotate out from the main university?
I do now.
Okay, but so it's not like they're any different than the doctors you get if you went to the emergency room at the university hospital.
I'm not going to the emergency room. I'm dealing with a doctor that I've been dealing with quite a while.
So, but that's what's taking care of you. And you said you fell. Did you go to the infirmary?
Yes, sir.
Is that the only time you've been at the infirmary since you've been in jail?
When they missed me to check on me, and I went, I think, another 2 times. But I have made sick calls. They don't go nowhere. They just tell me, okay, still sitting in the cell.
And you're alive. Imagine that. Imagine that. Maybe they're getting a clue that you're a BSer from BSville in BFE. I don't know, right? Like he's saying what pops out of his mouth at this point.
But you're not in the infirmary unit right now. That's the jail.
No, sir.
You're in the regular jail.
No, sir.
And
Well, I wouldn't call it regular. There's nothing regular about it, but yes, sir.
do you think you're the only inmate of their kind of has the diabetes, high blood pressure, and cholesterol?
Exactly.
No, sir. I know for a fact that I'm not.
Probably something to do with it pretty well. At this point.
I would tend to disagree with you, sir. Maybe not in my case. Because if you switch to me and you're the one laying on the floor at 3 o'clock in the morning,
Nobody believes you were laying in the floor at 3 o'clock in the morning unless you were trying to make a scene. Okay? We know people want to get out of jail. They're willing to do just about anything, right? Even playing sick, even having ailment after ailment after ailment, even floundering around. Like, we've seen all of this before. They make videos on YouTube about the insanity in these jails. Gets millions of views. You know what? I don't put it past somebody that's been in the system before. You know, remember when I told you guys that when I used to go to jail, I knew I'd be right out. It was all, just stupid shit. So it's like, I would always say I'm suicidal. I'd walk in there and say I'm suicidal because I'd much rather be sitting in the medical infirmary in a turtle suit than being in general population with the crazies. It's a true story. Why? Because I'm seasoned. Okay? I'm seasoned. And you got to use the phone longer. It was great. Like, you have like 12 cells to pass the phone around, not 50. It was awesome. You just learn things. Kids, please do not try this at home, okay? Okay. Thank you. Bullhorn Betty is bad. Is a bad influence. I told Olivia, whenever you have kids, if I have to watch your kids, they're going home with a bunch of candy and a bullhorn. She said that was fine. She's sick in the head.
can't breathe, with your sugar low sweating, you would think twice right away. You would reverse that, what you just told me.
Oh my goodness. For every woman in this chat room that has had a hot flash, please stand up. Please stand up. Good Lord, you crybaby. Do I have a cry? I don't even have a cry button on here, do I? What is that one? No, I don't think I have a cryy one. They have an ouch, but an ouch is not. Sorry, classy. Sorry. Don't hate me. I'm sorry. Sorry for all the ears.
If you were sitting there with holding the back of your head, thinking your eyes are going to pop in your head, you're going to have an aneurysm, you would change your mind.
Oh my God, now he's about to have an aneurysm. guy is too much. And you know what? I can't even say, listening to all this nonsense, all these excuses after excuses after excuses after excuses after excuses, as everybody else doesn't know nothing, all this other stuff. You know what? There's no, the fruit don't fall too far from the tree. You know what I'm saying? I'm starting to see why we have a problem with Christopher. I have to be honest with you.
You would have gone to university, right?
If that would have happened to me, then I would have talked to Dr. Wayne and would have settled it. But no, he's been taking care of me. I have not had that problem. I have not been holding my head. I haven't been on the floor at 3 o'clock in the morning. Or they're just looking at me like, what's going on with me?
Would it satisfy you if Dr. Wynn just talked to your doctor at the jail about your situation?
It would satisfy me to get the medication I need.
That's what it's shown. You can step down.
My son has a little nightgown, just like.
Always trying to be a nice guy, huh? Trying to be personal. That shows me a high level of manipulation right there at the end, to find something to identify with the judge. I look at those things, and he did just that. He tried to identify the judge, make the judge look at him as a person, make him hear he has a child too. It was just something about that statement. It was very manipulative and calculated, in my opinion.
That's any other witnesses? No, Your Honor. Rest at this time? Yes, sir. Stay. Ryan Rodriguez.
I think he was looking around to see if he had family. I don't know if he has family there. Maybe there was a family member or two, but I don't know what his family members would look like to look for him. That was it. So that was the gist of it. That was the gist of it. So again, we did learn that it sounds like his bond was reduced $150,000 to about $450,000, or around $45,000, to get him out of jail. Now, his wife, we know she has a $600,000 bond. So it's going to take, so they need roughly, for both of them to get out of jail, right as it sits right now, about $95,000 is what they need to come up with in order to get themselves out of jail. Now, I don't know how much of that money. Now, listen, I never had bail bondsmen, ever even looked into bail bondsmen at that high amount. If they take, a fee or something like that, or if they take, because I've always known 10% is 10%. They keep that 10%. That is their money after that. You get none of that back. That's what I've always heard. But you know what? I've only dealt with bonds of $10,000 or less. When you get to where you're having to pony up $95,000, does any of that come back? I have to say it probably doesn't, because the bonding company is the one taking the risk. Like, they're going to be out $1 million if you guys just take off and run away. They got to pony up $1 million to the coffers of the court if they absconded when you're out on bail. So that's the problem, and why bail bondsman likes to hunt and find you, because they want to go and get their reward. They want to get their money back, so they don't want officers. They want to take you in themselves. But either way, just let me explain that to you. So I don't think he was being truthful. I would have liked to have seen Myrta's statements while she was on the stand, and it appeared that we have that, and I don't know why we don't have her statements on the stand, but it seems like that she may have been more truthful than Ramon, because they kept questioning him about some of the statements she said, and he kept saying, "Oh, she wouldn't know. She's a smart lady, but she doesn't really know." It's like, I'm sorry, I just don't believe it. I don't believe you could be in business for 13 years and have nothing. I mean, 13 years is a significant amount of time to be in business. I mean, you've weathered some storms at 13 years. So it just 13 years, it's significant. But again, there's a few questions I still have with all of this is, why is Myrta's bond more than Ramon's? That's the first thing. Did she have more culpability? It just seems like she didn't really have a whole hand in anything, according to the information we have available. So why are they being so mean to the woman? Is it leverage? Or is it because she had more involvement than she's saying? Or is it because she just pissed off law enforcement by playing them for a fool? Who knows? She did lie to them. I can tell you, law enforcement don't like you lying to them. Now with Ramon also lied. He clearly perjured himself on the stand. It's not my job to prove it. I don't know enough about his life to prove it, but the information doesn't make sense. So I'm going to give it a big old fat F. He failed. But he won at the end of the day, because they did reduce the bond down to $150,000. But he could have dropped it down a lot more, right? Because the judge cut Myrta's in half. So he didn't cut Ramon's in half. He only took $150,000 of it. If he would have cut it in half, it would have been $300,000 and only $30,000 to pony up. They have enough assets for $30,000, but that's for him. But what they would have done is they would get him out. He would go back to work. He would be working. But I have to think nobody's going to want to work with this man. Okay, they don't know what happened to this young girl. I don't see anybody really wanting to hire him at this point. It's not for any other thing than people just wanting to distance themselves from any possibility of being brought into a national spotlight. I mean, he's effectively, even when he gets out, I don't really know if he can work. And I don't know if he can go into people's houses. Because even if he went to work for another company or something like that, just to keep his head above water, I mean, I guess there would be some people. I mean, always people that don't believe anybody, that these people didn't do it. So I'm pretty sure there's already a campaign or a group or some Yahoo out there that's already got, free Chris Preciado, he didn't do it campaign going on, even though they have, GPS that's in front of his house. He didn't do it, right? I've seen it all on YouTube, I must say. I've seen it. I thought I'd seen it all on TikTok, but no, I've seen it all on YouTube. So that's really it. You guys make the determination. There's the facts. You heard Ramon for yourself. You may not agree with any of the commentary I had on my opinion of his behavior on that stand or what I thought about it. And that's okay as well. But those were my comments, and I really do appreciate for you guys being here. And I will see you in the morning. Bye. We will be going tomorrow morning live. Will be at 6:30. Actually, probably closer to 6. If I do a 2-hour live, if I don't have enough for a 2-hour live, I'll start at 6:30. Just be awake at 6 if you want the coffee club, because it's shut off at 8 p.m. or a.m. I have to be somewhere, so my cutoff is 8 a.m. So if you guys would like to join me, that's the latest I will be here is 8 a.m. So I hope you guys have a great and blessed Tuesday. Get involved in your community and vote, vote, vote. Love ya.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.